Hello, everyone. This is our Friday night Spiritual Insights with Michael Mirdad program. This is 5:30 Arizona time every Friday, and it has been for many years. And you can watch hundreds of these for free on YouTube in our playlists. And the playlists break things down for you. They could be, playlists could break things down into ascension, multidimensionality, relationships, psychological topics, self-help of all kinds of different topics. So check it out if you like. We're going to share today, I think, an extension last Sunday, because I do Sunday talks at 10 o'clock Arizona time at Unity of Sedona as part of a Sunday sacred service. So this last Sunday, I spoke about real versus compensatory relationships. It's almost like saying real versus false, but I changed false into, I decided, let me go into a specific theme or topic, compensatory relationships. So let's extend that a little further today. Let's go with this and look at it as sacred sexuality, but let's go so far as to talk about porn versus real sex. All right. Hope that's not too, awkward for some of you, but let's, look at every topic has a purpose to be able to be healed or embraced or whatever the case may be. So as many of you know, I taught sacred sexuality, very specifically that topic, as one of my few workshops, 5-day intensives for many years. I also have written a couple of books on intimacy and sacred sexuality. Amongst my many books, it's just a topic for me. When people say Michael is known for what? This topic, that, none. It's God, us, and everything. It's just to be able to learn to bring love into everything, really. Awakening ourselves and being different, making a difference in the world. So to me, sacred sexuality was never my only topic by any stretch. It's one of many topics. To me, it's just any topic needs to be made profound or explained and healed and so on. So a lot of you know that I taught that for years. And even though I'm against shaming, topics, including sexuality, I did stop teaching sacred sexuality about almost 10 years ago. And for all kinds of reasons. But one reason is because there was no further message I could give in terms of different from what I already said. A lot of times I write books so that the information is there. I try to make them complete so that the essence, not everything I would say is there, but the essence is there. And I've written, books on this. So if people want to study, they can go there. I taught workshops mainly to teach people how to address the topic themselves or how to teach others. That was my main focus on it. And did plenty of that, hundreds of different, just hundreds or thousands or whatever of different students and lectures and workshops. People that have purchased the book, it's like, I got the information out there. But it's too troubled of a topic too. It's just too, I don't like to shut the door on people that are saying, Michael, I have abuse in this area. Please teach me about this area and let me, and help me. I mean, I don't want to say no to that at all. But again, it's in the books and it's in workshops, so you can listen to that and work on that. I wouldn't turn you down. Instead, I'm opening up avenues for you to learn other than firsthand in a workshop. Within the last 10 years, almost 10 years ago, I did teach a workshop or two that focused more on healing as opposed to healing and what I used to do, healing and the pleasure and the beauty and the art and just really all encompassing. But I decided to focus on the healing because that's the last category that I would want to close the door on because people need it so badly. In any case, I did stop teaching after a while. And I even recently found, I went to one of my files on my computer and the file on sacred sexuality and just started deleting old material, deleting notes and things that I wanted to share with people and printouts that I used to hand out during the workshops. Just kind of clearing things out to a new level. That felt good, but in a way odd because, again, wow, it's like a chapter of one's life kind of coming to a close. So I also deleted the material because it was my way of acknowledging that I was done with my attempts to help people more overtly in that topic. Again, lectures, materials are there, just in my overt form of teaching. The three-dimensional version of teaching. So still, it was one of my life's dreams, and I still believe this, but just to share kind of vulnerably, you could say with you, it was always one of my life's dreams to create a movie that depicts what it is like, sacred sexuality in its most sensual, beautiful form. Not just like a movie about healing trauma that's intense, but maybe could be a part of the movie. But I would love to have been able to create a movie that demonstrates, even in its graphic form, beauty. So we can just say, no shaming, just because you share something graphically doesn't mean it's bad, naughty, etc. From what church or family might have told you. But most of them are made that way, and they're, just kind of silly and gross. So I know that the odds were against, and I've been involved in projects where I was an advisor in terms of healing sexual trauma. And it's interesting because when the movie was being sold to the production companies that would put mass produce, and promote those kinds of films, their response was like, oh, no, it needs to be more porn-like. This is too spiritual and whatever. And it's like, wow, what an amazing lesson to have learned from that. But that's what goes on in this world. So it was one of my dreams to just, let's do a absolutely, almost like a spiritual, only graphic, only in the sense, pornographic only in the sense that it would be graphic, but to do one right, to do beauty, like sensuality and gorgeousness and love and integrity, and really, so not just the the ones that are narrated, and they've made a few of those out there, tantra video, hello, welcome to tantra step one, touch your partner slowly, it's a little too staged and so forth. Can it not also be sensual? Can it not also be sexual and graphic and beautiful? This is just what went on in my mind. And I know some of you would agree, and some of you would think, oh, that's too much. But, it's what I thought. It would be beautiful to do something that's different from all the other stuff done and could bring healing to a topic. But, I think, I had in my computer files lots of links to movies, new age sexuality, graphic, the narrated ones, the things I've seen in movies here and there where I went, okay, I like that piece. And that's the way a lot of filmmakers do things. They keep a board with clips and notes of everything that they want to bring together in their films. It's just kind of like all in here, blown out onto a board so they can remember, we're going to tie this scene to that scene. It's, storyboard kind of thing. So I had that in documents, and finally I just deleted them, not because of regrets and, oh, it's a dream not coming true. It's just, I just did. It's hard to explain because it was partly a closure in one respect, but also a closure in, let that be somebody else's battle now, so to speak. It's a figure of speech, but let that be somebody else's battle to try to bring healing to that kind of a realm. I'm grateful that I know anybody or have known anybody in my life that said, I would like to experience that in a healed form. And what a beautiful experience. But I'm the type that says, that's great that I've experienced that. But wouldn't it be nice if more people could? So I did the workshops, teach people, what they can do and share and all that. But I would have loved to say, it's like A Course in Miracles is telling us, you keep things by sharing them. So I thought, wow, I would love to be able to explain this more, show this more to the world. But there's so many hurdles. You need millions of dollars. You need just the right everything for this to happen. And then people immediately judge it and shut it down anyway. So, I'll leave people to their own, whatever limiting beliefs they want to keep. But these are all deleted now, these files, these snippets and snapshots and hopes and, and all that sort of thing. So And I teach that, sometimes you bid farewell, so that sometimes those kinds of projects can dissipate and be gone and get regenerated in another form. Other times they get regenerated in the same form, but sometimes you just let things go so that they can come back to life. And we'll see whether it's for somebody else or for me. Um, we'll see. But it doesn't feel like something I'm interested in doing. Who knows? There might be a billionaire on watching right now saying, I'll fund it. And then I would probably reconsider it. I can't say I would do it or that I wouldn't. I don't know. I would wait for inspiration because I just choose to typically I make no decisions alone. I make them with God. So if I get an inspiration, I would consider it. Our job to make this educational, even what I'm talking about now, is to stay detached from the outcome when we release things. But it was definitely a strong dream of mine to be able to go, oh, we could do this. The world, we can make a difference. That'll be somebody else's thing, probably or possibly at this point. I truly believe there's a lot of people that could have learned and would have learned. And you might be saying, oh, I would have loved to. Well, listen, it's not gone. There's some forms of that out there. There are some forms of other movies here and there. One of the most intense, but healing oriented, but a little intense. Nothing gross and graphic, but it can bring up issues anyway. A movie called Bliss. I love the movie. I've recommended it 1,000 trillion times. Um, it's a beautiful movie, but it's about a couple that gets married and issues. The girl starts remembering traumas. The guy's struggling with what's going on and they can't figure it out. She goes to a healer who does sexual healing, and he helps her reawaken this and heal this. Very rough road, but that's really more about the healing. When it comes to the sensual, there are a couple of movies out there um, that I think are, just semi-graphic, just slight nudity here and there, but done very tastefully, but very beautiful, very sensual. Some, in a way, there's a handful of these that I think are done with integrity. But I can't name them all because some of them might still trigger some people. Um, One that I thought was very beautiful was called Lake Consequence. Um, and Yeah, there's a couple others out there, but you might. I think even Summer Lovers was very sweet. Young people, I think it was two gals and a guy sharing love, like in Greece, they met each other, and it was just an old, you might remember it, 70s or 80s movie. And I think it was beautiful only mainly in the sense that there was a sensuality shared between these three people, but it was also beautiful because it was, kind of like questioning what can we do and what's okay. And then the jealousies and the questioning, it's just beautiful in that it's real life what happens with people when they want to explore or when they have curiosity. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, I know a lot of people would like, for me to have gone further with that, but I believe time is running out on this planet. I don't mean tomorrow it ends, but we're winding up. And in my years that are remaining here, I'm 60 now, and whether I'm here for one more year or 20 more years or whatever, things are winding up, and it becomes prioritizing. So I'm really focusing on more and more and more. I will never focus, I hope, on a topic. I doubt that would be me because I'm into love, God and everything. God and everything, love and everything. But I am focusing, just awakening the Christ consciousness. So I'm really very much into that. I still teach mastery, I still teach relationships, on and on and on. But time's winding up, so it's like I got to prioritize. Bye to the potential of that movie, and just I'm teaching and doing my work, So I don't even take, tons of time in relationship anymore. It's been many years since I have, but I'm grateful that I have or can have, choose to have, whenever have intimate friendships. And I think that all of us should be open to, can I have an intimate friendship, or do I have to always wait 20 years to find one that I think is one and only, that lasts 4 years and comes to an end, and then I look for another 20 years later of a one and only? Why not find intimate friendships and allow yourself to be? So um, I think traditional sex is horrible. I know it's a strong word, but Traditionally, sex is filled with shame, repression, repressing sounds, repressing feelings. People at best, if they even allow anything, they forgive the term, but they use it to get off. It's just that. And it's an interesting thing because spiritually speaking, well, Edgar Cayce was asked about sexuality. Is it, for example, self-pleasure, masturbation? The word masturbation means to disturb yourself. That's the negative connotation given to masturbation, but to disturb. So Casey was asked, is self-pleasuring good or bad for the body? And his answer was beautiful and interesting. And that was, I'm paraphrasing and summarizing. He basically said, if you have natural desire, like literally building up sexual power, building up arousal, and you repress it, it can burn gland cells in the testicles or ovary, cells in the reproductive organs, that energy, like Kundalini almost, you could say it that way. He said, but yet, doing it, just making yourself have sex, like just habitually, addictively, it exhausts your system. If you don't mind my saying this, my own take on this has been interesting because 90-something% of the time when I feel arousal, and pleasuring yourself is fine, but is it you're stimulating to make yourself feel arousal, or do you feel an organic arousal and then you stimulate or pleasure? One is healthier, and that is the one that it's already there. And then you just take it. You just ride that wave. That's the healthier. And for me, 90-something% of the time, I will, if I even go that route, I'll go that route and then just stop and let the energy all feed me and just move. It's just, I leave it at that. You might do that too, and I think it's beautiful. When you feel like you want to take it all the way to the end and so on, and explosions and whatever you want to feel, that's great too. I would just recommend that you don't always have that ending. Have an ending sometimes where you push away from the table, wishing you could have a little more. It's like that. It's, wow, that's perfect. You got the energy happening and it's cool. It's almost like using this thing that some people use to expend energy. You're using it to nurture energy within the system. And that includes channeling energy through the microcosmic orbit and all these other things that are in workshops and talks I've done, so you guys can watch those another time. I just think, for those who I've known who love their partners, I know people who love their partners and still repress their sexual experience because they're mad at them, because they're bored from other things in their life, or because they just feel shame, or why be with them then? Try to allow some energy, movement, sounds, tears, and whatever's there. Why repress it? And then if you're going to repress it, why? Because I'm not feeling safe, then why are you doing it at all? So just think it through. The traditional things that people do sexually are they're just out there. They're just gone. They're just not making sense. So the opposite of repressing it all, the opposite extreme pendulum, would be the world of porn. Everything bigger, louder, but it's fake. You may not know that. But 90% of what you see in a porn is fake. Porn addictions are not just interesting, fun, whatever. They do actually cause, just like alcohol or any other chemical addiction. There's a chemical addiction to porn because there is chemistry happening when you're all stimulated and whatever. Especially if you're doing stimulation based on what you can't have in your life, which you wish you could have, a fantasy, in other words. It can do destructive things. It's better if you're aroused and it's organic instead of forcing it like an addiction. Just if it's there, enjoy it. We've all dabbled in different forms that might not be suitable to other people, or you might have just tried something once or twice. That's fine. I'm not telling you to shame yourself. Last thing we want to do is shame things about sexuality. It's had a fair bit of that already. but 90-something% of porn, I've worked with porn stars and all that, and worked with this and studied this and included things in my books about studies and stuff, and having to give, facts and figures in the books. But 90% it's fake. I mean, if you interviewed the porn stars, it's fake. It's staged, so people go, "Whoa, I didn't know that could be done." It usually isn't. That's why they're going for you, because they're hooking you onto, whoa. Like, why would you watch a fairy fantasy movie if it wasn't like, whoa, look how pretty, and or an angel movie, or whatever else, superheroes? Why do you watch them? You can't do those things because it's fantasy. It's wow. Same thing with porn. They hook you on the fantasy. They know that if they show you everything average bodies, average aging bodies, average this, average love, it's going to seem a little blah. What's nice, I guess you could say, about porn is that it shows you the diversity of what people could consider if they love each other. And I don't mean just in love forever. I mean, if there's a loving respect, maybe we can play and do different things. And I'm not saying I'm justifying the way porn's presenting it. I'm just saying that it's showing you something too extreme. Repress, totally let go. But it's a lie. So, but at least I know there's something besides repression and one position and one this and stuffing stuff down. Just instead, how can I have balance? How can I have respect like this and letting go like this, somewhere swinging in this pendulum instead of here? It's just a thought. Maybe this will work for you. So although I don't encourage sex that's only coming from a place of the root chakra, there's no doubt I do encourage that people learn to take this love down into the root chakra and the root to the heart too. But I don't endorse just root chakra. Is there love? Is there healing? Is there feeling? Is there a releasing? That's the beautiful thing to me about sexuality. It's the people letting go, I think, is a very beautiful thing. Because they're safe enough to let go, therefore, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's the safety, the acceptance people can feel when that's happening. But what if you don't have anybody you can feel that with? That's, to me, unfortunate. It's kind of sad, like any other relationship conversation. So consider for yourselves, as I'm going to start closing, consider for yourselves, find a way to be a more sensual being. Think about it. If that's not what you feel and you don't feel any arousals, and don't make it happen. Don't say I should or else something's wrong with me. No, be at peace with that. Also, if you can bring arousal, but it's not there, but you're forcing it, that might be a little contrived. Some people say, well, it's nice if you try it. Well, if you try it and it's there and it feels right, then it's not contrived. But if you're like, having to make yourself feel aroused, I'm not needing to endorse that. It's just not, it's like, just let it go if it's not there. But if you do feel something, I would say, let yourself be a more sensual being. I'm not talking obviously about just more like sex. I'm talking about relaxing in your body. Wow, what's this? What's this? Happiness, pleasure, people shame it. I don't want to shame. Say to yourself, I don't want to shame this. Let me relax with this. Lie out and sunbathe. It's not all just sex. Lie out and sunbathe. How nice, how cool, how interesting, occasionally do self-pleasuring. Enjoy an intimate friend or enjoy a committed lover or partner. Enjoy your life mate, but enjoy. Do things in a state of joy. Play, but just be yourself, but yet in touch with pleasure in your body and how you feel. In the truth of it, you don't even have a body. So when you're using the body as a metaphor, this is me being comfortable with my being, not just my flesh. That's really profound. And I know some people say, well, but I don't have somebody to do that with. Start with yourself then. Just sunbathe, hot tub, sometimes shut your shades and turn on music and dance and just be carefree. Don't contrive it. Don't make it happen. Don't force it, but just how nice just to be able to, ooh, you know, the right music and play and dance and twirl and be. I know that if you left your computer on and you left your camera on and people saw you dancing, oh my God, you know, you totally shut down and be ashamed. But that's because you already feel ashamed. If you did that by accident and it came onto my computer, I would be like, oh, beautiful job. There would be no, oh my God, I didn't imagine he or she would dare do that. So not everybody's going to think that darkness towards you. You shouldn't think it. And if other people would, say goodbye to them if you have to. I mean, you know, you're not purposely trying to do that to them, but they saw something, heard something, you know, you're dancing and somebody forgot to lock your door and your friends, you know, they come by and walk in and you're dancing. You're going to be tempted to feel funky because this world wants that on us. What are you going to do about it though? I would just have to sit there and go, dang, I feel pretty embarrassed, but this is life. Birds do this. They sing, they dance. You know, the lilies of the field don't worry about what to wear today. It's just let this be beautiful. And if I thought the friends or the people didn't handle it well and they were shaming, I would see them as a voice of my past that I would say goodbye to. That's what I would do. So if you have any, you know, amount of a sensual calling, you know, just don't shame that part of yourself, you know, play with the feelings, you know, let them be enjoyed, let them be shared, let them be owned. If there's none, let that be as well. Be at peace with it. Um, you know, the world, religion, family, there's a lot of guilting and shame about bodies. And it's an unfortunate thing. So what are you going to do about it? Just say, oh, it's an unfortunate thing? Or can you at least start with this person and come out? I was raised pretty conservatively and very conservatively maybe, but not religious conservative. It's more family shaming and conservative. And so when I first sat in a hot tub by myself or with a group of people and people chose not to be dressed, it was such a beautiful thing. But some people, they make it a thing. They make it too much of a thing. Oh, you've got to go naked, or you know, and they make it into an ism. They make it into like a must. Not interested. Not interested in that or those kinds of people. I like when there's a certain vulnerability to it, as opposed to, oh, you know, let's all be naked, always be naked, and everybody's got to be okay with themselves. You know, just it's too silly because they're trying to make a statement of how open they are. I love the vulnerability of somebody going, wow, this is a little odd and awkward, but here I go. I love that. I just love people relaxing and being open about that new aspect of their life. Even if it's just conversation about something they were once shamed about and they're letting it out. I love it. Anything that has to do with releasing hurt, locked up darkness in themselves is a very beautiful concept. You know, there's different ways that happens. Sometimes it's orgasmic, sometimes it's tears and whatever. I think it's all beautiful nevertheless, because it's somebody saying, I'm going to let the old go and welcome in the new. And that to me is nothing shy of a miracle. So I would say, you know, with yourself or others, find a way to be playful, find a way to come out. If you choose to share with somebody else, it's best if it's someone you can call a trusted friend, whether it's your partner or a friend, or if you do share with somebody, the definition for it being sacred sexuality would be that this is a trusted friend. Then it becomes a sacred experience in all honesty. And, you know, so just think about it as I close, just real versus false. False has the two extremes. False sex is the shamed, shut down sex. False sex is also the, oh, gratuitous and I go wild and do everything with everybody. These two extremes, porn and religion, you know? So what about somewhere in here where I like the playfulness and allowing like a little bit this direction. And I like there to be an integrity, a little bit of this direction, nowhere near these extremes, but just somewhere that feels right for me. But once you decide what that is, real, versus false, once you find out what that is, now comes the homework. What do you do to allow that? Some people, God, just even bathing, showering becomes a process because they're so shamed or shut down. I know that some people have been abused, but what are you doing to heal the abuse? If you don't have a trusted partner because you have a partner and they're not trustworthy, or you don't have one at all, call upon a trusted friend. Learn the techniques and try these things in any way you can. Don't forget prayer. Don't forget God to help you with this process. Don't just use people and bodies, but allow people and bodies, including your own, to be part of that process. All righty. I pray this works for you in some way. God bless you all. And I'm very sorry for folks that have been hurt and they're sitting with this going, this is a struggle for me hearing this. Others are like, this is just what I needed to hear. I want to be free. I want to dance and I'll do so. And others will say, I do so, but I don't have the right place. Well, let's find that place. But those of you who are like, this is a lot. It's bringing up stuff. It's triggering. I'm very sorry about the hurts. And, I would love to have done more than I've done, but a lot of us feel that way in this world. But I did a lot. And took a lot of hits for some of that, trying to teach this, people shaming it and so on. But I did what I could. And there's a lot of my material out there in books that can help you. So one smaller book, Intro to Sacred Sexuality, Tantra and Sacred Sexuality. So there's a smaller book, very tasty, tasteful, and blah, blah, blah. The bigger book, Sacred Sexuality, a manual for living bliss, that is the more like the graphic stuff. They're both tasteful, but this one is more just the material, the philosophy of this. This one's a manual. So diagrams and techniques and exercises, very thorough. You can try those things out. You might check online and watch this and that, but just be discreet, discerning about which things you'll watch, because some are not coming from the highest place. All right. So be careful. Be careful not to just go to any workshop, study with just any healer or teacher, because sometimes they're a little bit more adding to trauma than releasing it. So God bless you all. We'll be seeing you soon, I hope, in one program or another. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye-bye.